And I'm like, wait, there's no way. Y'all see I am in a new little space, and it's because I really wanted to show y'all my background. I put up my gallery wall. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, 𝕃𝕊𝕂. If you're new here, my name is Gloria and I'm a full-time reseller on multiple different apps, and I resell clothes and shit. So in today's video, I am gonna be talking to you guys about what sold last week. And unfortunately, I had to pre-film some videos. So what sold last week is what sold last week for me. Definitely not for y'all. But I had to either get this content pre-filmed or leave y'all with nothing. So I want to give y'all a little something. So we're going to be discussing on my sales from April 28th all the way up until May 4th. So the very first thing that sold on Monday, April 28th was these Vuori women's shorts. I actually got these from the bins. I was like super excited because I'm just like, ooh, I found Vuori again. And I think I kind of mentioned like, okay, if you kind of see a brand a lot more than you used to, you kind of know that it's kind of like on the decline. How many times am I going to say kind of? But it's definitely like on the decline. It's still going to warrant some money, but you're not going to get a lot for it. So me and this particular buyer went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I was content with selling it for $22 only because when I checked comps, it was only really selling for $20 to $25. So 22 was right in the middle. And I wasn't going to go any lower than that. The next one is this Bombas t-shirt. I'm actually going to show y'all sales even though I've either refunded or they're going to be returned, and I'll talk about it briefly. This is an item that I actually fully refunded. I picked this shirt up, had to have been like a year and 6 months ago, so it was a very long time ago for me. I feel like I got so much better with the way that I kind of not only source my pieces, but kind of check them over. And this one had a few holes right in the front. And they just messaged me, and then I gave them a full refund. And I told them that they could either toss it or redonate it. So yeah, they were pretty happy. In those cases, I actually preferred that they message me first instead of put in an INAS. So I was completely okay with refunding them. It was a $15 sale. Anyways, the next one is these 𝕃𝕀ℕ𝕂 women's jogger pants. I actually like picking up this brand. I vet it a little bit better than I used to. I found that I have better luck selling their bottoms than I do their tops. So I try to just be real smart. I recently came across this very cute orange crop sweater, and I literally, put it in my Hulk and I'm like, oh, I'm going to take this home. I was like, let me just check a quick comp. And I checked comps on 𝕃𝕀ℕ sweaters, literally maybe like a 5% sell-through rate for the specific size that I had. I said, oh, absolutely not. So yeah, so smart. Check those comps. Anyways, the next one is this Susan Graver women's like duster cardigan. This was a brand that I tested out last summer and it was performing well. And then, some other people got a hold of it and it got really oversaturated. So then, yeah, but during the summertime last year, I think I had picked up like 2 or 3 pieces and they flipped within like a week or two for like $20 to $25. And then out of nowhere, it just kind of slowly declined. So of course I completely stopped picking it up unless it had like wow factors to it. All right, so now we're gonna move on to Tuesday. This is actually a pair of like, I guess actually it's not a pair, it's a jumpsuit. But it's just a cute little jumpsuit that I thought that I could sell just because it had a good little vibe. And Wonderly is one of those brands that I've been having a lot of luck with lately. I've been picking up pretty much everything, but I feel like in the beginning I was picking up like their cotton gauze items, but I've noticed that if I price it correctly, I can get it to flip. And of course it needs to be a good piece. All right, so the next one is actually some pants from 𝕃𝕂. These were new and they were a size medium. So these definitely took a while to sell. Maybe like 8 or 9 months. So it's been a minute. 𝕃𝕂 is another brand that I do pick up a lot. It's a bread and butter for me, but I might need to just rethink it or just rethink my price because that could also help it as well. All right, the next one is this H&M women's like maxi dress. Oddly enough, I was pretty shocked that the comps were the comps when I checked them at the bins. I came across this and I don't ever pick up H&M. H&M is just not a brand that I like to source, but I decided to go ahead and pick it up. Why do I feel like I talked about this before? I've been in a what sold or something because I'm like, I feel like I talked about this. Anyways, I went on and looked, you know, at the comps or whatever for H&M, extra large maxi dress, and they were not that bad. So I'm just like, okay, guess I'll go ahead and take it home. And I noticed that this one didn't take long to sell, maybe about 3 weeks, if that. So yeah, pretty happy with that flip. The next one is this Knox Rose pair of pull-on pants. This was another brand that used to perform really well, and then it just stopped out of nowhere because it got oversaturated like everything else. But I specifically looked at Knox Rose pull-on flare pants and the size, and the comps were good, which for me, comps being good is at 50% or higher. And in a situation like this, since these are literally just like a very basic pair, I knew that I had to get my price point together, and they did sell for my full asking price. The next one is this women's Bloom Chick dress. I think this is like a fast fashion brand, I'll be honest. But I looked at the comps on this size, and the fact that it was new was another like factor. So I ended up grabbing that one, and this one did go for $23. The next one is actually a bundle lot of little girls' clothes. Again, I keep telling y'all, but I had went through a spurt of picking up a lot of kids' clothes for like the past 2 years, but I would specifically only pick up the like higher tier kids' clothes, which is Hannah Anderson, Minnie Bowden, Baby Bowden, and then any other like niche brands that I would find. And I, you know, was being able to sell them, you know, $15 to $25, depending on what it was. But I kind of reached a point in my business like a good 4 or 5 months ago where I'm just like, I don't think I really want to pick up kids' clothes that often. So I ended up lotting them all together just by size and in category as well, because these were all dresses, and this one ended up flipping for $24. This lady was really haggling the hell out of me, but I ended up just being really firm with 24. Like, girl, this is a really good price point for these pieces. So yeah, I stopped it there. The next one is this Flax top. Flax is a great brand to sell during this time. Hopefully my mic. Okay, yeah, I'm good. But anyways, Flax is actually a really good brand to sell during this time because it is a seasonality piece and we are in the right season. So I would highly suggest you pick it up. This one actually flipped the next day after I listed it. So it was a really good turnaround. The next one is this Lynn Richie maxi skirt. I actually had this one for quite some time. I picked this one up due to style, size, and fabric. And even with all those factors, it still didn't go for the 25 to 30 price point that I wanted. However, I was content with $20 because y'all know $1 into 20 is like a really good, you know, profit for me. The next one is this women's lands in like UPF zip up dress situation. I was really happy that this one sold because I think I had that one for a little while, if I'm not mistaken. I think I listed it literally as we were closing out of summertime. So that's why I'm heavily so big into listing a little bit before the season, but not after the season. Anyways, the next one is this men's Lululemon pair of pants. I've had these for a while. Sourced them from the bin, so it's not like a bad flip. But yeah, the decline is crazy for this brand. The next one was a new to me brand called Mary Lawless Lee, but it was a collaboration with Splendid. And of course, what kind of drew me to the item was that it was linen, it was pull on, and it was wide leg. So I looked into it. This particular brand on its own does well. So I don't know if the Splendid collaboration ruined it or made it better, who knows. But this one finally sold, but that one was also listed out of season. So definitely my fault. The next one was a pretty good sale. This one probably took about 4 or 5 months to sell because I know that I listed this in like the ending of fall, closer to wintertime. This particular brand and Anime Bay performs decently. Well, at the time that I checked it performed decently. So I did price it, you know, up because that was what the comps were saying. So that one was a pretty good flip there from the bin. So moving on to Wednesday, this was actually a maxi skirt from Chico's. Again, I went through a spurt of picking up a lot of Chico's Travelers because at the time it was flipping for me. But yeah, I picked this up. This one did sell for my full asking price. I feel like I recently sourced this like maybe 3 or 4 months ago. So I think the turnaround wasn't terrible. This one was a Old Navy maxi dress. This was a style-based pickup. The only problem is the fact that it was a size medium. So I think that that definitely held it back a little bit. That's something that I've been paying attention to, that those Old Navy size mediums are not doing as good as, you know, those plus sizes. So I'll definitely note that. This is a women's Talbot's like midi dress. This one was super cute, and I'm just kind of like, Talbot's is not really a brand that I enjoy picking up unless it has like great factors, and this one did have great factors, so I grabbed it. Unfortunately, this one is coming back to me. I don't know if I told y'all, but I recently, like the last week of April, I went in and edited all of my policies. And what I find so interesting is that a lot of the things or the ideas that I have for my business, Resellers Edge literally talks about them. And I don't know if me and Kaylee is aligned, but I find it so odd because that the day before I set all of my business policies, like I went and edited them because for some reason I have been noticing, okay, let me rewind a little bit. So prior to me updating the policies, I want to say like 3 or 4 days before that, I got an email from eBay talking about how I received 12 like INADs or negative feedbacks or stuff like that. From, you know, at first I thought they were saying like in 1 month, and I'm like, wait, there's no way. But then I went and looked, you know, at the stuff, and I'm just like, okay, they're talking about for the past year. And even though 12 doesn't seem that bad because that's like 1 a month, it made me realize like I'm clearly receiving INADs because what I think that my account is showing like, hey, this item can be returned, but you have to pay for it, is actually not. So even though I made that a business policy last year, I had noticed that when I started to cross list on Flip, they give you the option to put either 30-day or no returns. And I would always click no returns because I'm thinking that once it makes it to eBay, eBay is just going to keep the policy that I've already had in place on it, which was buyer can return, but they have to pay for it. Clearly not. So I went up in there and I changed that. And literally within like 2 days, I received a notification that somebody wants to return the item. And I'm like, damn. All right, the next one is this women's Betsy Johnson like slip dress. I actually picked this up. And I'm like, oh, this is so cute. I know Betsy Johnson is sold at like those little department stores and stuff like that. But I'm just like, this one's perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and get it. This one got a lot of attention. I'm surprised that it took this long to sell because I think I actually listed it in November. So I guess it had to wait for the right season, but it's a cute little piece. This one is a Anthropologie scarf. You know, I just picked it up because it was Anthropologie. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I don't think I would do it. I'll probably do it again. Let me not lie. I'll probably do it again. The next one is this cupcakes and cashmere women's like set. I was able to find this at the bins. They were in 2 separate like bins, and that's essentially what I do if I'm in a bin and I see, oh, this is a cute little bottom, but I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to sell this. And then I come across the other piece. I'm like, oh, I can pair them together, you know, but this one was a set, so it was perfect. I didn't price it that high. I still wanted it to sell because I did list this one closer to out of wintertime. So like had to been like at the end of December. So I just wanted to make sure I can get a flip. The next one is this 𝕃𝕀ℕ𝕂𝕊 blazer. I've actually had this for years. Had to been hitting almost 2 years because this one, the cover shot was, you know, I don't want to say updated, but edited. And I can tell when items have been here for longer than a year because I used to do that. With my cover shots, I used to just update. Why do I keep saying update? I used to edit the cover shot too. All right, moving on to May 1st. These are a pair of like 𝕃𝕀 leggings with a skirt attached to them. This one was a pretty fast flip. We're talking a few days, if that. So I was pretty happy about that sale. So we love that. I would pick it up again. This one did have an additional factor. It was a larger size. I do find that 𝕃𝕀 in a size large and over performs a lot better than like the extra small, smalls and medium. So I would highly suggest you look into it. The next one is this handmade crochet like dress situation. I picked this up and I don't think I priced it that high initially, but the girl still wasn't trying to pay for it. So I ended up bringing it down a little bit more and finally it sold. This is a Kokomo women's like Henley top. They're known for like this fabric that's very stretchy and like the Henley popover style. So I went on and, grabbed it, and this one actually sold pretty quickly as well. I wasn't planning on it selling within like a week of me listing it, but I was pretty happy that it did. Okay, the next one is this Outdoor Voices men's like crew neck sweater. I had this for a very long time. When I got this one, I did price it high because at that time I had never came across Outdoor Voices when it comes to men's items. I didn't even know that they sold men's items. However, ended up, finally dropping the price, and then this one did sell for my full asking price. So we love that. The next one also sold for my full asking price. It was this Lily Pulitzer dress. I did source this one at the bins, like all of these items. And this one did have a stain to the neckline. I did try to stain treat it. It didn't come out. It just became very light. But with the busy pattern, you could barely tell, but I still wanted to price it accordingly. So I did not price it high, but if this was in excellent condition, I would have priced this one closer to like $65 due to the size, but I didn't. All right, the next one is this Duluth Trade in Women shirt. This is one of those brands where it's really in your best interest to actually go and look up the style name so you can make sure you can get yours to actually sell. Some people are looking specifically for, those style codes that they probably already have, and they just want different colors, or they wore that one down, they just need a new one. So I would suggest you looking at it to just, pinpoint that exact item. But this one did take a while to sell. The next one is this J. Jill women's like linen top. Linen, J. Jill, extra large, just too many factors to leave behind. So I did list that one a little bit higher than I typically would J. Jill, and it did sell for an offer that I sent them. So anyways, so just as an update, I know I talked to y'all in my last What Sold video about my offers that I sent out to watchers on Mercari. So all of those over 1,000, offers that it supposedly sent out, I noticed that when I went back on Sunday, I stupidly, because I saw the number and I should have put two and two together, but I didn't. I sent out the offers again, but I sent out the exact same price point because in my mind, I'm thinking that I'm going to send out these offers and it's going to only go to the people that I did not send the offers to originally. It didn't. It literally sent them out double offer. So I sent them an offer on Sunday. Then I turned around and sent them the same offer on Sunday. More people declined. What threw me off is that unlike it. So what I did was once I noticed that I received a decline on it and I saw that it was two of the same offers that I sent out, I went on through the list and I blocked all the people that had already declined it the first time because I didn't want them to get the notification again. So I just blocked them, which probably wasn't the best because they might be missing out on other good items that I have. But that was the only way for me to kind of jump ahead of it. So now I know moving forward, I may not be able to use that feature unless Flip actually kind of updates that. And I don't really know how they would update it. I guess it's really my fault for sending out the exact same offer. Had it been, additional 10% off, then maybe it would have been more enticing. But y'all know my pricing strategy is different on each platform. So the offer that I sent them is the best offer that they're going to get, Moving on, this is an Eileen Fisher women's organic linen top. I've actually had this one for a while as well. I think because this one was a medium, that's probably why I sat so long. But this one was definitely a good seasonality piece with it being linen. Eileen Fisher is still a decent brand for the most part. But this one did go for $30, which is still a good price point. All right, moving on to the next day, which is May 2nd. This is a women's Zara 100% linen button down. I have a lot of luck selling Zara button down tops. It really is dependent on the color and the size. I try to stick to the large and over, but if I find a medium, I may check comp to just make sure. But I feel like when it comes to those smalls, extra smalls, it's very hard, but I just leave those behind unless they got something going for it, The next one is this Allen Anthropologie women's 100% linen skirt. Great piece. I knew when I sourced that it was going to be a good piece. I sent out $15 offer, or they sent me a $15 offer. I think they probably sent me the offer and I accepted it. I didn't have a problem with it. Allen used to be a great brand 2 years ago, but not anymore. This one, I was really happy to get out the door. I've had this one for over a year as well. For some reason, when I was like cleaning out my sweaters, I just couldn't get rid of this one. I don't know what it was. Even though I had it for as long as I did, I just couldn't get rid of it because I'm just like, somebody is going to want this. Like, look how beautiful it is. So yeah. This next piece also is something that I've had for over a year. This was a 𝕃𝕀ℕ𝕂𝕊 like romper utility situation. Again, overpriced it initially, so that's probably why it sat for as long as it did. The next one is this women's loft dress. This was definitely a style-based pickup. Loft is one of those brands where it's a hit or miss, but this was definitely like, you know, a thing that I was going to make sure I use a lot of keywords for, and that one did sell for my full asking price of $25. Moving on to the next day, this is a Old Navy's women like denim jacket. This was brand new with tags. I had went back and forth on whether or not I wanted to list this now or wait until the fall. But I feel like, if I'm not mistaken, like denim jean jackets are like spring based because a lot of people wear those with like dresses or just with, you know, a regular casual outfit because it's not cold, but it's not hot. So it's just kind of like a denim jacket. It's just like the perfect thing to wear. So this one did sell for my full asking price, which I was really happy about. The next one is this Y2K whimsical skirt. I picked this up. I don't think it had a brand tag on it, but it was a plus size. And I just thought that this colorway was going to be great for, you know, the right keywords. So I'm just like, I'm gonna go ahead and get it. And this one didn't take long to sell. We're talking maybe a week and a half. So pretty fast flip on Depop. This one is a 𝕃𝕀ℕ𝕂𝕊 like jacket, cardigan, sweater situation. This one went for $25. I didn't price it high just because we were kind of moseying out of the season. I feel like when I list things right before the season, I can price it a little bit higher because we're moving into the season versus when we are either in the thick of it or about to head out. So you just kind of got to price it, you know, accordingly. I know one of my viewers told me that they don't really care, you know, what season they are in. Even if the item is out of season, they're still going to price it for their price point. And I think that's a great thing to do as well. I'm not saying that y'all have to do anything that I do in my business. But when y'all are asking me, oh, how do you make this many sales? Yada, yada, yada. This is just what I do, you know, so I'm only telling y'all what I do. But we all are going to do what works for us in our business. And that is something that works for me. But I do think that it's important too to, you know, never really take away the value of an item. This is just a black 𝕃𝕂 jacket. Imagine if this one was a black 𝕃𝕂 jacket with a whole bunch of embroidery to it. That's going to add more value. So it's a plain rib cardigan. Like, what more could I squeeze out of it, you know? The next thing is this Talbot's women like tank top situation. I was actually pretty happy that this one sold for my full asking price. And I think this one did take like a good 2 or so months because I did list this as soon as we kind of transitioned into spring or right before it. So I don't think that that's a long time to wait for an item to sell. 2 months is not bad at all. But it was a pretty good piece. And I was lucky enough to find another plus size Talbot's like sleeveless item. So that one probably will be selling pretty soon. This one was a new to me brand called Martin and Osa. This one was a cashmere and silk blend, and that is the reason why I looked into it. This one did sell for my full asking price, so I was pretty happy with that sale. And I did list this one out of season. Like I think I listed this maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. So it was a lightweight cardigan. People are wearing cardigans during this time. The colorway is giving very much so fall. So that's like the only hiccup, but it's still sold. So we love that. All right, so the next one is this Uniqlo men's linen shirt. I also listed this, I want to say like in December. So I had to wait for the right buyer and it did sell. And the comps at that time were not that bad. That's like another tricky thing too when it comes to listing out of season pieces because the comps are going to look terrible. They're going to look terrible. So you just kind of got to go with your gut. All right, the next one is this women's Vince button down top. I'm going to be honest with you guys. This thing got a lot of attention every single time I relisted it. And I couldn't understand like what's going on. So when this person sent me a $15 offer, I immediately accepted it because I'm just kind of like, please get up out of here. This one is a Lands of Salzburg women's, you know, robe dress thing. I remember picking this up and I had went back and forth on whether or not I wanted to grab it because it did have flaws. But I ultimately decided to go ahead and take it home and stain treat it. I don't think the flaws lifted. They just became a little bit more faint, but I listed it with the flaws and it did sell for $25. This one was a pretty decent piece to pick up. The brand is AYR, which is definitely a bolo. This one was 100% silk. The only problem is that it did not have the tie for the belt. So I did price it much lower than I would have had it been a tie with it, because this one was a larger size and it was silk. So I could have definitely got about a good $60 to $70 from it had it had the belt. This one is actually a women's linen Chico's top. I had this one for a while. So when I received a $20 offer, I said, absolutely. All right, moving on to the last day. This one is a women's like little skirt. I picked this one up due to style, and I knew that the brand was also going to help it sell a little bit. But I knew that I was going to use specific keywords to kind of get this one out the door, because it was giving all of the vibes of like ballerina, ballet core, all the things. So I went on and grabbed that one. This one was also exciting. This one is a 𝕃𝕀ℕ𝕂𝕊 women's dress. I've heard about this brand, and I think I've only picked up men's button downs, and they didn't perform. So when I saw the dress in a plus size, I'm like, okay, great. This one should do well. And it did. So that one did sell for $40. The next one is this Urban Outfitters brand called Standard Cloth. This is just that button down short sleeve men's shirt. I love to use the word camp for these because that really does add a little bit more value to it. Standard Cloth is not really a standalone brand that will perform amazingly, but you can definitely get about $20 from it. So you already know I'm gonna pick it up. This one was a piece that I actually got from a viewer of my channel. Hello, Patsy. She gave me like a lot of pieces that she didn't want at the Goodwill outlet. So I was just like, oh, thank you so much. So I was really happy that this one did sell as quickly as it did, because this one took maybe 2 days to sell. So this one was a really good turnaround. The next one is this Urban Outfitters like women pair of pull-on pants. What's so funny about this one, y'all? I literally put that the inseam was 12 inches and not 22 inches. And that's why it's so important to just take your time. That's why I really have to work on, when I'm in the photographing stage, to not rush, take my time. I'm not in a time crunch. I literally work for myself. So what is the rush? So I think that was deterring people from actually purchasing from me. So this particular person, we went back and forth because we were just trying to get the inseam and make sure everything was good. And she was like, oh, could you do 25 shipped? And y'all know I don't play when it comes to that whole little free shipping thing. But at the time, I'm like, well, sales are a little bit slower. So I initially told her no. And then she came back and we laughed because she thought I said something else, and I'll pop it on the screen. And then I say, you know what? Yeah, I'll do 25 shipped. And because ultimately I'm going to be netting probably about $14 from $25. So I don't think it's terrible. Ideally, I would have just liked to have sold it for $20, $25, but beggars can be choosers. Now, this one is from a viewer of my channel. Thank you so much. This one was a brand called Construct. I believe when I looked into this, the sell-through rate was okay. And it was a new to me brand. So yeah, I think it must have been good in order for me to grab it, because y'all know I bumped up my sell-through rate for men's items to 80%. And that really slowed me down big time on just sourcing a lot of men's items, because y'all know I was really tired of selling children's items. I also felt that same way with men's items. So in order for me to kind of, make sure that I don't grab too much, I pull up the sell-through rate. This one was a Ryan Michaels women's like pearl snap. I picked this up looking at the brand because I've sold it before and it always did great for me. However, when I got home and I buttoned up the pearl snaps, I noticed that it was paint on it. So I did drop the price. This particular person sent me like a 70% off offer, and I accepted it. They probably were just as shocked, but I recognize that this one clearly was not going to sell for the price that I wanted, because I did go to my eBay store and I noticed that it was 16 people that viewed it. Not one person watched it. So that lets me know all I need to know when it comes to some of my items, is that clearly the price point isn't that good. Something's wrong with it. And clearly it was the flaw. So I'll go ahead and get my little $6 from that sale. The next one was Not Your Daughter's Jeans. This was a top. I remember picking this up and specifically looking at the size in their blouses, and they were doing okay. So I did grab that one. The next one is this Onya button down top. I remember this being a bolo. So what I'm thinking now is that I definitely missed the window a long time ago. But I originally sold this for $20, maybe 8 months ago, probably over the summer. And I had to cancel the order because I noticed that it was not a size large, it was a size medium. Even though I photographed the tag, I'm sure that was gonna, be an issue. So I canceled the order and I relisted it at the right size. So I was happy that I found it ahead of time instead of later on. All right, this one is a J. Jill women's sweater. It was plus size. I had ran into a bin and I found a lot of like plus size J. Jill. They were flipping like hotcakes. And for some reason, I want to say like the summertime up until like probably January, J. Jill was flipping like crazy. And I've noticed that it has definitely slowed down. So of course, I've slowed down as well on picking it up. But this one did go for $25, so not bad. This one was another piece that I've had for quite some time. This was a Y2K hand knit type of crochet cardigan situation. These type of pieces I pick up for, festivals and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't know if a festival girl is wearing that. More so a hippie dippy girl is wearing that one. All right, this one is a We the Free, like, waffle knit top. They messaged me and was like, hey, is this still available? I'm like, yeah. And they kind of went ghost. So that Sunday where I send out offers, they actually accepted this one. So I was really happy about that. Okay. Anyways, the next one is this airy, like women's one piece. This one was super cute. And it was, I want to say new without tags. So yeah, they sent me a very reasonable offer and I accepted it. This is a pair of Judy Blue jeans. This is another brand that just plummeted, okay? So I was happy that this one sold for $28 because I went in and dropped all of my prices on Judy Blue because they just aren't selling. When I used to see them, I would always pick up Judy Blue. I used to pick up Judy Blue for $9, $10 because I knew that it was going to flip for $30. That stopped a long time ago. I stopped picking up Judy Blue over the summer because she won't move, All right, and those are actually all of my sales from April 28th all the way up until May 4th. I think my amount was like $14.50, which is not bad. I feel like I'm kind of playing in between 14 to 16. So it really kind of depends on if I am sending out, aggressive offers or if I am really making it work. So on eBay, making sales or marketing sales or whatever they're called. So like now, since this week wasn't bad, but I feel like this week currently isn't going that great, I'm probably going to run a sale on Friday for the weekend for eBay because I need to zhuzh up some business. And I think that that's really important to do. I probably also need to go in on Poshmark and send like bulk offers on stuff.